Welcome back to Static Fear. I am Peyton.
Howdy-ho.
Now we learned a lot from the last episode because there's a lot of kinds of screwed up stuff that was able to fix most of it in post, but um, the audio should be better in this one, and Adam should look nicer in this video.
Hopefully, anyways.
Adam, what are we reading?
Sir, we are reading. My apartment building told us not to use our peepholes after 9 p.m.
Is there another name for that? Peepholes?
Peepholes, yes, but it is not coming to me. Unfortunately.
Me either. If it comes to
Eye hole, maybe? I don't know.
yeah, maybe eye hole. No, that just sounds like your eye. But
Yeah.
all right, who's it by?
It's actually by underscore Marie underscore me.
Me.
Mm-hmm. It's actually, it was actually posted 4 days ago on r/no sleep.
First r/no sleep video.
It's actually, and it seems like it's going to be very, very good. I think it's going to be very, very good. I have to say.
Got high hope.
Yes,
a lot harder to please, so we'll see.
Well, to be honest with you, one thing that's really nice about it, like to me, the title's being creepy. Something weird.
Yeah, I do like the titles, like we discussed before. It does kind of remind me of Resident. Oh, I did it again. Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that's going to be kind of what it's going to.
It might not even be supernatural. It might be just a story.
Maybe, after 9 p.m., really after 9 p.m., that's when the weird neighbor comes out, completely naked, running down the halls. They just don't want people out.
When he's out doing it, they can't stop him either. He's too powerful, too strong.
Possibility.
So they just let him do it. But yeah, you want to get started?
Yeah,
Let's see what this story's all about.
Of course.
All right. The email came in that morning, which meant I read it while standing in my kitchen in one sock, waiting for my coffee machine to stop sounding like it was choking. The subject line was Important Resident Safety Notice. That usually means the elevator was broken again, or someone had left chicken bones in the laundry room sink, or the landlord had discovered a new way to blame us for the mold. This one was different. Dear residents, until further notice, please do not use your door viewer / peephole after 9 p.m. If someone knocks after this time, please call the front desk. Do not visually confirm through the peephole. Thank you, the Marwick residents. I sent a screenshot to Natalie. She replied, Girl, what kind of Scooby-Doo-ass building do you live in? The Marwick is old in the way landlords call historic. Landlords, when in reality, they just want to charge more. My hallway smells like dust, carpet cleaner, and something that might have been canned soup in 1987. The elevator makes a sound, like it is remembering a traumatic event every time it reaches the 4th floor. If it ever makes it there. So honestly, the peephole thing barely made the top 5. I live alone in 6C. It's my first apartment after college. 1 pan, 2 mugs, couch from Facebook Marketplace, mattress on an actual bed frame. The front door faces a long beige hallway with 5 other units, and a framed sailboat print that has been crooked since I moved in. Through the peephole, the hallway blends into a little fisheye world. Carpet, elevator, sailboat, the occasional neighbor holding takeout. I use the peephole constantly. Everyone does, right? You hear a knock, you look. That is what the peephole is for. At 9:42 that night, someone knocked. 3 taps. Soft. It didn't sound like a delivery knock, nor a friendly knock, not even a maintenance knock. 3 carefully spaced out taps. I was on the couch eating cereal out of a measuring cup because my bowls were dirty. I paused my show and walked to the door with the spoon still in my hand. Then I remembered the email. For a second, I actually laughed. The idea of standing inside my own apartment and being afraid of a people felt really silly, like being warned not to look into a mirror after midnight. Another knock. 3 taps. I said,
Who is it?
no answer. I leaned closer.
Hello?
Still nothing. My eyes was maybe 2 inches from the peephole when my phone buzzed. Another email with the same subject line. Important resident safety notice. This one said, residents are reminded not to use their door viewers after 9 p.m. If you have already looked tonight, remain inside your unit and do not enter the door. Building management. I stared at it. Then from those other doors, someone whispered.
Don't worry. You haven't looked yet.
I backed up so fast I hit the little table by the door and knocked my keys to the floor. I called the front desk. Voicemail. I called Natalie. No answer. The knocking started again while the phone rang. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. Pause. I called 911. I don't know what happened. I might have hit the wrong thing. Maybe the building's intercom app glitched. My hands were definitely shaking too much, but the call connected to the front desk. A woman answered.
Good evening. Thank you for calling Farwick Residence.
There's
Front desk
someone
woman
outside my door.
What unit?
6C.
a pause. Then she said,
Use your peephole tonight.
No.
Sure.
Yep.
the knocking stopped. The woman exalted.
Don't start now.
What's going on?
Do you live alone?
I always hated that question.
Why?
Do you live alone?
I didn't answer. There was paper shuffling on her end, like she was looking through a folder. Then she said,
Please move away from your door. Who's out there?
Maintenance has been notified.
At night? It's almost 10.
Please move away from your door.
What's the maintenance code?
silence. Every work order in our building had a code. They used it for everything. Leaky sink, broken outlet. That one time a raccoon got into the trash room. Maintenance always gave the code before entering. The woman said,
Excuse me?
The work order code.
I said,
If maintenance is coming, what's the code?
another pause. Then she hung up. That was when Natalie called me back. Before I could say anything, she said,
Are you home right now? Yeah. Can you lock your bedroom door? What? Why? Is your bedroom door locked? No? Why? I need you to listen and try not to freak out. I got pictures from your number.
I looked at my phone. Her text thread was open. The last thing I had sent her was the screenshots of the email that morning.
What pictures? They look really old, like from earlier today or yesterday. I don't know. They show you in your room.
I turned toward my bedroom. Its door was open. The room was dark except for the street light bleeding through the blinds.
From my room? I know.
My phone buzzed. A picture came through. Me, standing beside my bed in an old t-shirt folding laundry. The angle was high. I knew it immediately. It was from the vent. The picture was taken from the little square vent above my closet door. The one that rattled whenever the heat came on. The one I had complained about twice to management. In the picture, I was looking down at a skirt. I had no idea I was being watched. Ooh, that's creepy.
So they're getting the pictures from the people?
No, from the vent that's in her room.
Then what's the whole point of the peephole?
I don't know yet. But the fact that she's being spied on, but it's from her number.
So like don't hack their phone.
Yeah, yeah, that's weird.
That
That's
is
very
weird.
weird. The knock came again. 3 taps. Almost through the phone. Natalie said.
Marie, don't open the door. I'm definitely not going to open the door. Don't look through the peephole either. I know. No. I mean, don't. I think that's how they know.
I looked at the door. The peephole was just a small, dark dot.
The pictures are old, but the texts you're sending me are live. What do you mean?
Another image came through. My bedroom again. Me asleep, one arm under the pillow. Blanket kicked halfway off because my apartment is always too hot. Taken from the vent. Below the photo was a message I hadn't typed. She's home. I stopped breathing. Outside my door, a man said.
Maintenance.
His voice was calm, tired, and slightly irritated.
Ma'am, we need to come in.
I said nothing. He knocked again. 3 taps.
Ma'am, to look through the. I need you to look through your peephole and confirm it's me.
Natalie whispered.
Don't open it.
I pressed the phone to my ear so hard it hurt. The man outside sighed.
Marie, you live alone. You need to let someone help you.
I went cold. Marie isn't on my lease. It isn't on my mailbox. It isn't the name I use for deliveries or bills or maintenance requests. It isn't even close to my real name. It's a nickname from college. 3 people call me that, and all 3 of them know better than to say it through a locked door at night.
Marie, open the door.
I backed away from the door. That was when I understood the warning. It wasn't because the peephole was specifically dangerous. It was because if you looked through it, whoever was outside could see the light change, or the shadow of your eye, or whatever tiny movement told them someone was standing on the other side. They weren't warning us not to open the door, they were warning us not to prove we were home. The man outside said.
We can hear you.
I covered my mouth with my hand. Another man spoke from further down the hall.
Is she looking?
The first man said.
Not yet.
My phone buzzed again. Another picture. This one was not of my bedroom, it was my hallway, my door, the man outside it. He had a toolbox in one hand. Behind him stood 2 other men. One wore a dark hoodie, one had a clipboard. The clipboard bothered me the most. I don't know why. Maybe because it made the whole thing look official. I whispered.
Natalie, could you call the police? I did. When? 2 minutes ago. How far? I don't know.
There was another knock. Three taps. Then the man said,
Don't make this difficult.
the doorknob turned slowly, once to the left, once to the right, then it stopped. I had locked it, with the deadbolt too. I've never loved myself more than I did in that moment, the man outside said,
Good girl.
like he was pleased. Then something metal slid into the lock. Ran to the kitchen and grabbed a chair, wedging it under the knob, even though I knew that mostly worked in movies. Then I dragged the little table over, then my laundry basket, then the broken floor lamp I kept meaning to throw away. The man outside said,
Murray,
I didn't answer.
I know you're scared.
I stayed quiet.
That's okay. Women get scared.
My skin went cold. Then he said,
You should have just looked when we knocked.
the lock clicked. Not all the way, just enough. Natalie was crying now.
Marie, get out the window. I'm on the 6th floor. Fire escape? The other side of the building. Bedroom window? No.
I looked toward my bedroom. The vent above the closet was dark. I had never noticed how much it looked like a mouth. What? I never noticed how much it looked like a mouth.
What does that mean?
I
Like,
have no idea. This is very weird
it's like
because
it's getting a normal situation of like a stalker, but also and the weird aspects of the vents and stuff because the whole the whole point is so they don't know that you're home, right? But
Mhm.
there's like photo proof from the number that they're hacking to send it to her friend of her could be in her apartment right then and there. So there's a camera in there, so that means someone knows that she's in there. So
Mhm.
why is looking through the peephole confirm that whenever they honestly should already know that if they're targeting her?
Yeah. I mean that it's see some of it just isn't making sense, which I mean I know it will probably make sense later on. Um but that's just weird, man. I mean, it definitely seems like you said, it's taking a normal like stalker type thing, and then it's kind of flipping on its head. So I don't know. Well, let's continue. Let's see what happens. My phone buzzed again. Another picture. This one showed my bedroom from the vent. Empty bed, open door. At the very bottom of the frame, just visible in the hallway mirror, the reflection of a man standing inside my apartment. I turned around. No one. Nothing. Only the hallway. Only the bedroom door. Only the vent. The man outside laughed softly. Then he said through the door,
Check the closet.
I am not checking the closet. I am sitting with my back against the kitchen cabinet, topping this with one hand while holding a knife in the other. My hand is shaking so badly that I keep hitting the wrong letters. The police are coming, I think. Natalie's still on the phone. Think. The men in the hallway have stopped knocking. A few minutes ago, something small slid under my door. Photograph. Not digital this time, but printed. I haven't touched it, but I can see it from here. It's a picture of me sitting exactly where I am sitting now, back against the cabinet, phone in one hand, knife in the other. The angle is from above, from the kitchen vent. I picked it up on the back written in black marker of 6 words.
You locked him in with you.
What? You locked him in with you. I don't know, so is the people outside? Are they actually like bad, or was they actually?
I don't understand the point of the peephole
Yeah.
because that's the whole premise of the story, but it doesn't really we don't know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But because she has a look through the people, but yet she all this stuff is still happening to her. So
Yeah.
I'm just confused on what exactly is like why is it still happening even though she hasn't done the thing that she was told not to do and everyone knows not to do.
Mm-hmm. I just, yeah, it's kind of like to me, it really didn't. It was. I feel like it was trying to add a bunch of stuff together, and maybe it didn't really work out too well with that. I mean, it's still creepy. Don't get me wrong with
Yeah,
the camera. That means how long have they been looking at her for?
that's true.
So, and it seemed like the men outside was very creepy. But then they said you locked him in with you. Like what?
I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something, but
I think I might be too, maybe, because I mean it's very interesting. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
Like the premise behind it. I feel like a lot more could have been done with it, but you know, I mean it's still good. I feel like it has a good foundation to it, but I think it could have been, honestly, they should have expanded it out more.
yeah, I I agree. Uh,
Because if they expanded it out more,
like
I think it.
I need a lot of backstory about the peephole. Like, does she know why she can't see look through it? Like, like I mean, like we get the little premise, but so they don't know there's someone is home. But what else is there? Like, it seems like they're afraid to do it, even if
Yeah,
you knew the person on the other side.
yeah. I don't know. That's definitely it's definitely weird. I'll give it that. I guess, like I said, could have been more of a better premise on it,
Yeah,
but it's definitely not bad. I feel like she could probably, him or her, could probably make it even expand out on it and make it even creepier.
I agree. So, what do you think of this story?
I think I think it was good. I really do. I think it was pretty decent. Um, like I said, it seemed like it was adding a lot of different things, elements to it. But
Yeah,
but the foundation was good.
I agree.
Foundation definitely was good. I just think it could have been,
It
maybe
needs
it could have
it needs
more.
more to the story. Like this is a short story, but it doesn't need to be a short story. You need to add a part two
Yeah,
about it, and there
yeah.
might be, and we'll keep an eye on it. But since this was a kind of a kind of a shorter one, we're
Hmm.
going to read another one. and
Oh, okay.
and it's a story that you've read before. And everyone, when you think of creepypasta, what's the first thing you think of?
Creepy pasta.
Yep,
First thing.
first
I
thing.
don't know. Uh, I know there's like different things from, of course, what's one of the first creepy pasta?
Jeff the Killer?
Yeah, like Jeff the Killer and stuff. Is that it?
No,
No.
no.
What is it?
The Russian sleep experiment.
Oh, the Russian sleep experiment. Okay, okay.
And I know
I can
you
get
know,
behind that.
and this is coming from creepypasta.com. And there's another one that I need to find because it's actually the first creepypasta that I've ever listened to, and it
Hmm.
was abandoned by Disney. Have you ever heard that one?
Yes, yes, I have heard that one. Yes, and that one's very, very creepy.
It is very creepy.
So we are reading the Russian sleep experiment, which is a very classic creepypasta. I remember listening to this on YouTube.
Yes, and it had the creepy photo of like
Yes, like somebody hunched over.
for the longest time I thought the story was real.
Yeah, I did too. I really, I really did. And good thing was, it. Hopefully, it's not real. Because if so, that makes it even more creepier.
I mean, like I guarantee there's been plenty of people that have been tested on being sleep deprived. I don't hold it past any form of government ever.
Yeah, I mean, look what else governments have done.
Exactly.
So I mean, alrighty, we will start. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them, since it was toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed circuit cameras, so they had only had microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole sized windows in the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books and cots to sleep on, but no bedding, as well as running water, a toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. The test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II.
Everything was fine for the the first 5 days. The subject hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be freed if they submitted to the test, and did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past. The general tone of their conversation took a darker aspect after the fourth day mark.
After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. Well, I mean, I would too if I went 5 days without sleeping.
Good one now.
Yeah, I can't stay awake all night. I remember I used to do that all the time. Now I can't. Not anymore. I'm in bed by 10 o'clock most of the time, at the latest.
Well, I am sometimes too. I can't.
They stopped talking to each other and began alternately whispering into the microphones and the one-way mirror holes. Oddly, they seemed to think they could win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity with them. At the first, the researchers suspected this was an effect of the gas itself.
After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber repeatedly, yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight, at which point he continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The researchers the researchers postulated that he had physical torn oh, the researchers postulated that he physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about the behavior was how the other captives reacted to it, or rather, didn't react to it. They continue whispering into the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The two non screaming captives took the book apart, smearing pages after pages with their own feces, and passed them calmly over the glass porthole. The screaming promptly stopped.
So did the whispering into the microphones. After 3 more days, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it impossible that no sound could be occurring with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the people they were afraid were either dead or vegetables.
They announced, "We are opening the chambers to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of your immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard a calm voice respond in a single phrase: "We no longer want to be freed."
Did they see that is the creepiest thing?
Because
We no longer want to be freed.
you can tell like they've lost their humanity, and
Yeah.
they're not mentally well to want to stay in a environment that they haven't even been there for not even a month.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that they no longer want to be freed. Yeah, that still gives me like shiver me timbers.
Shimber me timbers.
Shiver me timbers.
Why does that give you shiver me timbers?
It's creepy, man. It's creepy.
Never.
Debate broke. Debate broke out among the researchers and the military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging as if pleading for the life of loved ones to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened and the soldiers were sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside.
4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state that any of them in life. The food rations past day 5 had not been much as touched. They were chunks of meat from the dead test subjects' thighs and chests stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, blocking and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined.
Ew.
Did you say you
Ew.
stop this? Just say you.
Ew.
All 4 surviving test subjects also had a large portion of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were infected by hand, not with teeth, not with teeth as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that most, if not all of them, were self inflicted.
The abdominal organs below the rib cage of all 4 test subjects had been removed. While the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place, the skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the rib cage. All the blood vessels and organs remained intact, but had been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen working at digesting food. It quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh they had ripped off and eaten over a course of days.
Most of the soldiers Most of the soldiers were Russian special operatives at the facility, but still many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subject. The subjects themselves continued to scream to be left in the chamber and begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on, lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out, and another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off and an artery in his leg severed by one of the test subject's teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives. It you could count the ones that committed if you could count the ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident.
In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arm of one doctor. His heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes before or after he bled out, to the point there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, and just repeating the word more over and over, weaker and weaker until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility. The 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begged for the gas, demanding to be kept awake.
The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operation room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subjects to have his organs placed back into his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they have given him to prepare him for surgery. He fought furiously against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on his on wrist. Even though the weight of a 200-pound soldier was holding that wrist, it took only a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under. In the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. The autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. The muscles that were still attached to to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle to not be subdued. Most of them were from the force his own muscles had extended on them.
The second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested, reluctantly, that they should try the surgery without anesthetic, and did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin. The surgeon presiding stated repeatedly that it should not be medically possible for the patient to still be alive. One terrifying nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so the patient could write his message. It was simple: keep cutting.
The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without aesthetic as well, although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation. The surgeon found it was the surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patient laughing continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their system in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulate gas. The researchers tried asking why they injured themselves, why they had ripped out their own guts, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. The only only one response was given: I must remain awake.
All 3 subjects' restraints were reinforced and they were placed back into the chamber, awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goal of their project, considering euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer An ex KGB instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but were overruled. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had their restraints padded for long term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all three stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that, at this point, all three were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might. First left, then right, then left again, and for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired to the EEG machine, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined inexplicably. It looked as if were repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw the man's eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped.
The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brain waves shown the same flat lines as the one who had died from falling asleep. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as the three researchers. One of the named three immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes. Then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as he pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained, to the bed. As the remaining member of the medical and research team leave the room, I won't be locked in here with these things, not with you. He screamed at the man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know.
Subject smiled. Have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be freed at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go into the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread. The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out, so nearly free. That was good.
What? You can't
It
go wrong with that story.
No, you cannot go wrong with that story. Oh, I mean, it's a classic, nonetheless. Um, you know, I think, and even like on the bottom here, even shows the picture that we was talking about.
Yep.
But that's just creepy. That honestly, whenever I was younger, gave me nightmares.
Really?
Yeah, gave me bad nightmares.
It
When did that come out?
2012?
Was
That's
it
what
2012?
that's what I read. 2000.
Hmm,
I thought it would be way sooner than that. It
2012.
yeah, yeah, it says yeah. July 8th, 2012.
Wow.
16
That's
minutes
excellent.
of reading.
Well, it takes a little bit longer. Can we kind of stop to talk?
Like,
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with it at all. It's good, creepy, and it kind of makes you wonder because the longer people are awake, they do start hallucinating. They do start going crazy because humans need sleep. Is
and
it, I think is after 24 or 48 hours that you feel drunk.
I think it's 48 hours. It's either 48 hours or 3 days.
That's like you had a couple beers,
Yeah.
and I think
It
you
might be
start
48.
hallucinating. I think you start hallucinating after like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. And can you die from that? Like,
Because yeah, your brain actually eats itself
really?
alive. hmm Whenever you don't get sleep after 24 hours of your brain not getting sleep, you literally will end up dying after a while because your brain starts eating itself because it doesn't know what to do. That's why when they say about getting sleep, getting so much sleep and everything, it's actually because of that whole reason behind it.
I mean, I could actually see something like this happening.
Yeah,
It might
100%.
not play out exactly like the story reads, but I c- this would drive someone crazy and probably say things mm, maybe it, that they think is true, but I don't know. Like it's like that the line of where it says, "For the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment." I guarantee you, people have read that and thought that kind of makes sense.
Oh yeah. I mean, because if you think about it, once you lose, you get your sleep. Like you know how when you get tired, you start getting aggravated.
No, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We all do. We all get aggravated when we don't get sleep.
fair.
And just imagine, you know, it continuing if you're not getting sleep. Eventually, you're going to be you go crazy.
Absolutely.
So I think it's definitely a good. Um, I feel like it kind of does go into the whole thing of, well, you know, I guess more primitive mind,
Yeah.
maybe, and then you start going crazy. Except for the whole eating flesh. I feel like that's not a primitive thing, but I could be
Well,
wrong.
in a way, like eating flesh and r- causing that harm to yourself, you it's like if you try to bite your own finger off, you couldn't do it because your mind tells you not to.
Mhm.
Is that self control and but you don't have that there, so you just lose it, and then you get numb to the pain. Like they're going through all kinds of stuff, and they probably don't even really have a thought anymore. They're just
Nope.
bodies,
Yep. They are just
and it
bodies.
kind of like zombies, I would, in a way,
That
but
picture
instead,
shows it all.
yeah,
Picture shows
it
it all.
it's a creepy photo. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
for a fact.
Very creepy. But yeah, I think that was two very interesting stories. The first one definitely needs to be explained a little bit more, add some detail, maybe a part two. would definitely be recommended. And then, of course, for the second one, very, very, very classic. Can't go wrong with it.
Repeat that one more time.
The first story, you definitely, I think, for that first story, it could have been expanded upon.
Yeah.
Maybe a part two.
It needs it.
Yeah.
Needs it.
And then, of course, for the second story, a classic.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with it. Everybody knows, the Russian sleep experiment been around, like I said, since 2012. So anybody who's been alive for early 2000s knows this story.
I might end up keeping these in the same video, or I might split them. I don't know yet. It really
Okay.
depends on what the editing process is for it, because I know there's a lot I need to edit. But
Hey, I mean,
so
it is a whole learning process, and you know, definitely comment on it. Let us know what we could improve upon, because we are more than happy to take those, recommendations
especially
and
with
run with
that,
it.
especially with how the sound is, and what would you like added to it? That would be a tremendous help.
Yep,
All
it'd be
feedback's
very
good
tremendous.
feedback, even if it's negative.
Exactly, exactly. And we are, we definitely want to make this a, good channel when it comes to talking about creepy stories.
Yep.
And, hopefully all of y'all will definitely come along for the journey.
Well, thank
As same to you, good sir.
you.
Goodbye.